You ever feel like no matter how far you've come, it always feels like you just haven't arrived yet? It always feels like there's more to get. The things that you once dreamed about, when you get there, you can't even appreciate it. On today's Matt Chat, what we're going to be talking about is how to overcome and not get consumed by our inherent desire for more, how to how to appreciate what we have, and how to not feel like we're running around in circles and never getting anywhere. As human beings, we have an inherent desire to get more. No matter where we are in life, the goalpost is always in front of us. The horizon is always ahead of us. And if we're not careful, that inherent desire for more can consume our fulfillment and drain us of our happiness. So we have to be deliberate about being grateful for what we have. We have to be deliberate about celebrating the things that we've accomplished in order for us to feel like we've arrived. Like I said, as human beings, it does not matter how far you get, that goalpost is always going to be moving. But that's actually a good thing if we play it correctly. That means that our potential is infinite. But we have to counterbalance that with gratitude. We have to counterbalance that with celebrating our wins, with remembering where we came from. We have to be very deliberate about that, or otherwise, what will happen is that we will feel like we're running around in circles and never getting to where we're going. We have to remember that a lot of us, in a lot of cases, in a lot of areas in our lives, are living the life that we asked for. Think about it. And there's a lot of things, there's probably a laundry list of things that you once dreamt about, that you once wanted, you once desired, you dreamed about, and now you have it. Now you're there. And what happens when we get there, we never acknowledge it. So we never feel like we're there. And a lot of times it really boils down to an identity shift. We have to believe that we are, in fact, living the life that we once wanted. We have to adapt and accept the identity of the person that we want to become. And really, when you think about it, that identity shift comes first. If you don't have that identity shift, it doesn't matter what you have on your plate. It doesn't matter what you accomplish. You will not feel like you have arrived. You will feel unfulfilled. So we have to be mindful and deliberate about acknowledging where we came from. And a lot of times, our fulfillment comes from us being able to take care of what we have. And When we say take care of what you have, what that means is that you have to be grateful for what you have. You have to believe that you have something in order to get something. You have to respect what you have, take care of what you have in order for you to get more. We've all heard the stories of, someone who wins the lottery, or a lot of times you hear it with professional sports where these people run into a bunch of money, but because they don't have the capacity to take care of that responsibility, they end up throwing it away. So we have to be careful with what we're asking for, and a lot of times we don't get what we want because we can't handle what we want. And that's why when we set out to do something, we have to first look inside and do the work inside and become before we can have. Success is measured by your stewardship, is measured by your capacity to be able to handle success. And if you're handling what you have, you're successful. And there's no dollar amount, because you have people that have full bank accounts that aren't successful. And you have people that have empty bank accounts that are successful because they understand how to handle what they have. You're not getting more because you cannot manage what you have. And a lot of that boils down to being able to protect your peace. The first thing that you have is your peace, is your fulfillment, your happiness. And that starts inside. In order to get more, in order to become more, you have to be happy with who you are and where you are right now. So you have to protect your peace. And you do that by setting boundaries with the people around you, setting boundaries with the circumstances, having your non-negotiables. And boundaries are not about punishment. It's not about changing someone's behavior. A lot of times when we call ourselves setting boundaries or enforcing boundaries, when we do it with the intention of changing someone's behavior, we're actually defeating the purpose of the boundaries. Boundaries are about maintaining your peace. They have nothing to do with punishing someone for whatever behavior we didn't agree with. It's not about punishment. You don't need closure. You don't need an apology. You don't need them to change. They're not responsible for behaving in a certain way that you agree with, but you're responsible for the environments that you keep yourself in. But when it's all said and done, there's always going to be another mountain to climb. And that's a good thing if we approach it correctly. There's always going to be a goalpost ahead of us. And that's a good thing. But given that reality, we have to understand that if we do not approach it correctly, we will feel like we never arrived. We'll feel unsatisfied, unhappy, unable to recognize what we have. So we have to be deliberate about celebrating our growth. And in a lot of ways, the fact that there's always growth to be had, that keeps us humble. And then our gratitude on the other end gives us the confidence to move forward. So we're grateful for what we have. We're proud of who we are, proud of what we've accomplished. That's the fuel that we need to fill the gap of where we are and where we want to be. But a lot of times that has almost nothing to do with what's going on around us. A lot of times it starts with taking care of the person in the mirror, taking care of the person inside. You are the vehicle that has to get there. You have to make sure that you can handle where you want to go. A lot of times we're not where we want to be because we can't handle being where we want to be. So when it's all said and done, the work is really happening inside of us. And, initially our motivation might be to change our external circumstances, but we quickly find out that in order to change our external circumstances, we have to upgrade our internal circumstances. We have to make sure that the maintenance on the vehicle that we need to drive to the destination is up to date. You don't get into a car and drive cross country without changing the oil or getting tires that can handle the trip. And we have to make sure that we're doing that. Taking care of the person in the mirror, taking care of the vehicle, protecting our peace, celebrating our wins, staying humble and understanding that there's always growth to be had. And if we do that, we put ourselves in a situation where we never stop building the person behind the mission. All right, folks, got to run. Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat, Frederick, Maryland. This was Matt Chat.